imprint, right? Then we will know the definition of the mind-only school, Citta-matra, Sentampa, mind-only school. Now these two imprint, right? First is the imprint of the intuition, imprint of the view of grasping itself, mainly imprint led by five sensory mind. We see, we hear, we see, we hear, we smell, we taste. So these first two imprint of intuition, imprint of grasping itself is mainly imprint led by our sensory consciousness mind. Last imprint is right. Last is imprint of some sort of experience is mainly led by the inferential valid cognition, conceptual mind, non-conceptual mind. Remember, sensory consciousness are non-conceptual, right? Just seeing directly. Last is the imprint of some sort of experience is imprint led by valid, inferential valid cognition, which is conceptual mind. It's kind of mental thinking, right? Mental consciousness, thinking, Well, this makes sense, isn't it? So when anger arises, then you are thinking, he did this, such as such, thinking. Then leave the imprint. This kind of, so first two imprint is mainly led by the sensory consciousness, and the last imprint is led by inferential valid mind or conceptual mind, or sensory consciousness or non-conceptual mind, right? Inferential mind is kind of like conceptual mind. So this imprint, so this is the, the mind-only school. Mind-only school, first mind-only school. So you got all these 9 cognitions. 9 cognitions are category of impermanence phenomena. They are category of impermanence. 9 cognitions are category of the impermanence phenomena. They are cognition of 5 senses, right? 6 mental consciousness. Cognition of time. 7. Cognition of enumeration. Cognition of location. 9 cognition, isn't it? Did you find 9 cognition? Okay, now here is very good. Mind-only school is sutra school, very similar, right? Remember last week we have Hina and sutra school. View. The sutra school view is mind-only school view. Remember, study this. They solitary realizer have higher view than the hearer. Remember, solitary realizer view is mind-only school view, which is mind aware. So solitary realizer create more merit than the hearer, because their view, understanding emptiness higher than the other, right? So these are the same division as in the Sutantika school. Remember, we discussed last. True and false expectation agreed that appearance of the gross object and external is distorted by ignorance. They disagree over whether the gross appearance of the wholes exists as they appear, the whole and part, right? So this is the book is whole, paper, all is part. So whether gross appearance of the whole exists as they appear, for example, the patch of blue is actually many tiny parts, blue, patch of blue, many tiny particles, right? Parts that are blue is the appearance of the patch, appearance of a patch, true or false, true or false, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Patch of the blue, gross appearance is a gross object. When we see object directly, they are gross. Appearance of gross objects are distorted by ignorance. Therefore, appearance and reality are different. That's the same. You know. So when you see that this patch, the blue, we see gross. We see the blue appears, right? Appearance. This blue appears separate from the mind, is false, right? False appearance is false, right? It's mistaken, because object blue and sensory consciousness which perceive blue is not different entities. When you see appears different entities is false. But in fact, these two are form and sensory consciousness which perceive blue are one entity. But appearance, different entity is false. It's false, isn't it? False. The true appearance is when you realize blue, object blue, subject is sensory consciousness, which perceives blue, absence of different entities. Then automatically you will recognize these two are same entity. And this is true. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got? So false and true. False and mistaken, like the mistaken is appearance. In fact, like the appearance and seeing the reality is mistaken. So when you appears, when you see this blue patch, it appears your mind, different entity from your sensory consciousness. So this is false, right? So when you negate that object blue and subject, mind, sensory consciousness which perceive blue, when you negate this different entity, then automatically you will realize these two. is following Buddha's sutra. Whatever Buddha said is right. There is no indefinitive. So they are rejecting indefinitive sutra. But mindfulness school accept both. So definitive sutra and indefinitive sutra. So this is Citta-matra accept final will that of good differentiation as the definitive. They assert that the other two will of doctrine, the first will of Dhammatani and the middle second will of Dhammatani, explained in that sutra is required interpretation of scripture. Whatever Buddha said is meaning different, saying something, first will of Dhammatani and the second will of Dhammatani. That means in the second and third will of Dhammatani, Buddha made contradictory statements regarding the nature that phenomena lack. Citta-matra school consider Buddha's final thought to be contained in the third will of Dhammatani. The will of good differentiation, which is considered to be definitive in the sense that it can be taken literally, while the other two will of doctrine, first will of Dhammatani and second will of Dhammatani Sutra, required to interpretation in the sense they cannot be taken literally. Therefore, they accept first will of Dhammatani Sutra in indefinitive sutra. So, saying something we cannot accept literally, meaning different. Remember, the sutra is called, they rejected, they said whatever Buddha said we should literally accept. We cannot, but now you see the difference, the mindfulness school. And then they use that one as individual for analysis. Four reliances. Kansalamada Chulatan means do not rely on the person, rely on the doctrine. Siglamadin Telatan means Tibetan means do not rely on the word, rely on the meaning. Then third is do not rely on the meaning that is to be interpreted, relying on the definitive meaning. Kansalamada Chulatan, Siglamada. Tandalamada Ngedelatas. Do not rely on the dualistic consciousness, rely on exalted wisdom consciousness. So they use that four reliances to, we cannot accept Buddha's scripture literally. Therefore, some sutra, indefinite sutra, some sutra, definite sutra. Is it? The four reliances are the doctrine is not a person. Now they use, mind-only school use these four very, very important. Four reasonings, the four thoughts, the indirect four intentions, mind-only school. The four reasonings are very, very important. This is very good. Reasoning of dependence, number one. Number two is reasoning of performing functions. Number three is reasoning of proving feasibility, right? Number three is reasoning of nature. These are the four. The four thoughts. The thought of similarity, the thought of another meaning, the thought of another time, the thought of the person's attitude. Indirect four intentions. Intention of causing someone to enter. The intention of nature, the intention of the antidote, the intention of transformation. So this is mindfulness school. Citta-matra school. The four reasonings, dependence to analyzing object of reality is used. We use to analyze, how things arise in the dependent on causes and condition. So dependent arising of the causes and condition. And the things are arising because dependent. Reasoning of dependence means dependent origination of causes and condition. Ignorance, then samsara. Dependent, motivated by ignorance and carried by karma and let imprint, store the karma in the consciousness. Samsara exists. So long ignorance there, samsara exists, dependent. If ignorance dispelled, no more samsara, go beyond the samsara, dependent. So this means the reason of dependence, So this mindfulness is used or dependent on every object, is dependent on origination of causes and condition. So when anger arises, depend on the cause and conditions. Cause and conditions are internal cause. Now this, remember, now it goes back to these three intuition. And, imprint of intuition. We check, anger arises must lead by this, any kind of these three intuition. Intuition of imprint of intuition, imprint of the way of grasping at self, imprint of the samsara, any of these, then you will depend on arising, any good or bad, in the dependent arising of reason of performing functions. Performing function is analyze their own functions, functions. That makes sense, What is the function of negative mind? What is functioning of afflictive emotions? What is their function, That makes sense. What is the function of the positive emotions? Then function of phenomena, then analyzing, you are, the consequence of negative function, then result is negative, and pain, suffering, consequences of that. Positive emotions are result is good. So the functioning of phenomena, so kind of like analyzing all this. Then number three is feasibility. To analyze, to see whether or not something contradictory to the valid cognition. This is very important. Something contradictory to the valid cognition, we should not accept. The cognition is valid, right? So when you analyze, and then if through analyzing, if that is contradictory to So these are very difficult. Like we see no problem, manifesting phenomena, right? Easy to believe, When we see, we can believe it. Why? Because I see directly. Something we cannot see, hard to believe, right? So something we cannot see, hard to believe. Then these are like past life, future life. These are like merit, good karma. We can't see. This is why it's difficult to believe. If we see, easy to believe it. If we can't see, then what we have to do is we have to show some reason, proof through the valid reason, isn't it? So when we prove through the valid reason, and then if contradictory to the valid reason, then if somebody says past life not exist, right? Now we have to prove. Yes, past life will exist, We can prove, Then he may ask how, Then he says, oh yeah, I can use some valid proof, He may ask, give me proof, Then you can say, maybe I will give you example of the baby, baby. One family, two babies. Same parent, same mom and dad. But different mental attitude, Then we should ask if him, who reject the past life, right? We should ask this person, you think baby's mind is given by parent? If that person says yes, then why this baby have two different mental attitude? You know what I mean? Why parent may be smart, baby not that smart. Why? Parent is not given by baby. So there is clear indication that mind is not given by the parent. Physical body is given by the parent. Things like that, and then this is kind of like third reason of proving feasibility. The reason of nature. Now, generally speaking, reason of nature is renowned. Reason of nature is, it's kind of like worldly people renowned. Worldly people said, Mira is Mira, hot, cold. What do people designate? Television, iPod, iPhone, iPad. People designated. That's the reason of nature. Every time new object comes, somebody designated. Like last year there's no iPhone 6. This year iPhone 6 designated. Last year no iPhone number 5, right? This year iPhone 6. iPhone 6 also two categories, right? One is very thin, designated 2, So the reason of nature is worldly renowned. All over the world, iPhone is designated, right? That's the reason of nature. Hot, water is hot. Television is television. Mirror is mirror. Everyone believe it. Worldly renowned. So this kind of reason is reason of nature. These are the four reasons. Four thoughts. When Buddha, when he spoke certain passages, right, teachings, are similarly, the similarity of something to the truth body, wisdom, consciousness of Buddha. you understand? Intention of causing someone to enter. Similarly, of something to the truth body, wisdom, consciousness of Buddha. So when Buddha spoke certain passages, the motivation is somebody want to enter the Mayana path, then speak different passages, make, oh, this making sense. And he used certain levels of the passage, intention, in order to enter that person to the Mayana path. For example, like Hinayana, they are practicing and then sometimes not interested about Mayana. So in order to lead those person to the Mayana, so Buddha used different passages. Intention is lead that person to the Mayana path, but using some different. So this kind of thought is intention of the causing someone to enter. Second is intention of nature. Second is, sorry, no, I'll make mistakes, sorry. Number one, thought of similarity. So thought of similarity. Right? Yeah, thought of similarity. Thought of similarity is Buddha when he spoke certain passage, the similar of something to the truth body, wisdom, consciousness of Buddha. Similar. Number two is thought of another meaning. So this is all. Another meaning, Buddha was thinking of something else when he said, for example, all phenomena are without entity, because that is not literally true. So first will of Dhamma turning, Buddha said all phenomena are truly existence, right? Truly existence. So then other school will reject, right? Pasangika school will not accept this. So, but literally not so things like that. Thought of another meaning, right? And thought of another time, right? Buddha was thinking another time is Buddha was thinking of another time, thinking of another time. The thought of person's aptitude means teaching to different mental attitude, Hinayana, Mahayana, these are the four thoughts. The indirect four intention. Number one is the intention of causing someone to enter. So this one. Causing someone to enter means preaching or doctrine that suit from to enter Buddhism, So intention of nature. Thinking of the three natures of the mindfulness, Shyawa, other power phenomena, thoroughly established phenomena. Shyawa means other power phenomena. All phenomena depend on causes and conditions of Shyawa. Yungdu means thoroughly established phenomena, emptiness, Shyawa Yungdu. Kunda means Kunda, there are two existing Kunda. Kunda is the another phenomenon, nature. All phenomena were without entities, antidote, which is antidote, and transformation. So these are mindfulness school view. He used four reliances, four reasoning, four thoughts, the indirect. Okay, Now, the thinking of the appearance of the external object, Buddha spoke of external object for the sake of entering the path of mind-only school. The basis of Buddha's thought for teaching in the first will that external objects exist, when in fact they do not, is that the appearance of external object does exist. The Buddha's purpose was that he taught the existing of external object for the purpose of causing the intended trance for whom he spoke this to enter into the realization of selflessness of person. The middle will, the Mayana Sutra and the profound are not literal because Buddha was thinking of non-nature appropriate each of the three natures. This is Manoli school, right? Middle turning of the will indicated here in the sutra called unraveling the thought, Manoli school sutra. The Mayana Sutra on the ground, profound, the perfection of wisdom is not literal, because when Buddha said that all phenomena are natureless in terms of the three natures, imputation nature and other power nature, thoroughly established nature. This is the Mandalist. He was thinking of the character, non-nature of the first, that imputed nature are not established by the way of their own characteristic nature. The protection non-nature of the second, that other powered nature are not produced under their own power. So the three way of interpret scripture are by examining the basis in the Buddha's thought. What was Buddha really thinking of when he said this, first, second will of Dhamma. Number two is the Buddha's purpose. What did Buddha intend to accomplish by saying that this? Number three is the damage to be literal teaching. What force would be accepted if this passage were considered literally? For example, with regard to the Buddha's teaching in the first will sutra, that they are external objects. The basis is that Buddha was thinking of the fact that to ordinary beings there seems to be external objects thought not to be himself. That makes sense, isn't it? Because the Buddha said external things are all things are exist. External things are objects that exist. This is basically ordinary people are grasping all external things. Mainly, thinking about external form, smell, all. So, to this purpose, And then the purpose is to help his hearers understand selflessness, and therefore he told him hearers that all phenomena truly exist, but that a permanent, partless self does not. All the impermanent phenomena are truly existent. Not permanent phenomena are truly existent. Phenomena are divided into two, right? Permanent phenomena and temporary phenomena. Permanent phenomena means always there. Space, cessation, emptiness, all are permanent phenomena. Temporary phenomena are occasionally phenomena. Sometimes they are, sometimes absent. Form, consciousness, and neither form, non-consciousness. All impermanence phenomena included into these three: form, consciousness, and what we abstract phenomena. Abstract phenomena. Neither form nor consciousness. Time belongs to that phenomena. Time, self, person also. When we talk of person, is not form. Person is not like body. We see the form. That's not person. Person is different school. Mind in school, mind baseball. Person is kind of so there are the different. Okay, so damage to be literal teaching is that since it can be shown by the Citta-matra school, the objects are not external, it cannot literally be true that all phenomena truly exist. The three nature, other powered nature, Shema, which is impermanent phenomena themselves, all phenomena which depends on cause and conditions are other powered phenomena, produced by cause other than themselves, other power. Imputational phenomena which are the nature that exist or thought but are not ultimately existence. Imputed phenomena. So when we imputed phenomena, object of negation is also imputed phenomena, imputed, but not phenomena either. Imputed phenomena can be true, existing or non-existing. All space are imputed phenomena. Space, permanent phenomena. Object of negation is also imputed phenomena, but which is not existing. A projection of the mind. Create this. You have to negate, right? That form and valid cognition, which cognize form is different entity. So we negate that. Which are thoroughly established nature, which are the emptiness. All phenomena are one of these. Imputation nature include both existent and non-existent, remember? Imputation. Existent and non-existent. Non-existent is object of negation. It's projection of the mind create. Existent is space, all this. Existent imputation nature include generality like existence, same, etc., whose instance include both permanent and impermanent phenomena, as well as non-products such as space. Okay, so here is the who include both permanent and impermanent. We can explain that what we call the imputational phenomena. We can explain both impermanence and permanent. Permanent is space, which is imputational phenomena. Impermanent means imputational phenomena is what? Won't let it. Just you creating own rabbit, or you designated piece of paper with a dollar, imputation. You designate a piece of paper with a dollar. You designate whatever, imputation. These are impermanent, changing, depends on the. So, non-existence, imputation in nature include external objects, substantially existence, self. The ultimate nature of the third So most importantly, three nature and three imprint or intuition. Then we know Manole school, what is really Manole school means. So Manole school view is three nature, except this. Shengwang into Kuta. Shengwang into Dembadu means other power phenomena and thoroughly established phenomena truly existence. Imputational phenomena non-truly existence. Okay, so this Manole school view. Because okay, these ultimate so now here because the three natures are not produced etc. in the way they lack their own dependent nature. Buddha said phenomena are unproduced. Because three natures are unproduced and unceasing, etc. in just the way that they are naturalist. Buddha said in the Professional Wisdom Sutra that they are unproduced and unceasing. Buddha spoke of attaining forbearance regarding to the doctrine of non-production by the way of becoming accustomed to the eight non-production of the imputational nature by the way of their own nature. The non-production of others, other power phenomena for themselves. The basis is Buddha's thought concerning non-production when he said one attained forbearance regarding to the doctrine of non-production was these 8 types of non-production. So 8 types of non-production is coming here. With regard to the so non-production of beginning of samsara, number one. Non-production in the sense that what has already been produced is production again. Non-production of sentient beings who did not exist previously. Non-production of imputation nature by way of their own character. Non-production of other powered nature by self-productions. Non-production of change regarding thoroughly established nature. Non-production of affliction in arhat who have attained knowledge of extinction. Non-production of enhancement regarding to the truth body. So 8. My goodness, good. This is very difficult to explain. With regard to the, so this is, okay, so Mandula school, remember? Self-consciousness, rang rik, mind cognize mind, self-consciousness. So self-consciousness, except by Mandula school, rang rik. So that means, they said if there is no self-consciousness, mind cognize mind, right? Mind cognize mind. So then, last year I had this memory, you can't remember, Last year I had this memory. Last year I had this good memory, bad memory, because of this self-consciousness, remembering. So last year I had this good memory because of this self-consciousness. If there's no self-consciousness, I can't remember what last year, I did this. I have this kind of memory. Therefore, we accept self-consciousness. Mind cognize mind. So therefore, this is one mind only school, accepting self-consciousness. Okay. So here today we study about mind only, right? Means they are not rejecting external object. Okay, very important. Sounds like external existence are the object of negation. Like not rejecting external objects are there, but due to these three institutions appears differently. There are intuition of previous intuition, right? Institution of the grasping at the self. Munjuj pada, dagde paja, sibe yalaj paja, Tibetan means intuition of the samsara experience. Because of this, object appear differently, isn't it? So that means Munjuj paja means imprint intuition is you have to know this. Otherwise, no. You never been to Lhasa, no imprint Lhasa. You'll be seeing this Potala Palace, Lhasa, then later. Baby have no this intuition. Newborn baby, when baby born from mother womb, no. See but no recognize. But do have intuition of the view of grasping. Institutional view of grasping is led by things. When you see object externally, because of this institution of grasping, make object and subject different entity appear to your mind, which is false, but not. That's the intuition of view of self-grasping. Intuition of samsara experience means externally object appear, nothing to do with the mind. Right? Things are nothing internal cause. So these kind of imprint of the samsara experience. So when we know these three imprint, we know Citta-matra, mind only school. This is why they call mind only school, isn't it? Three nature, Shewa, other power phenomena. Yongduk means established phenomena. Kundak means imputational phenomena. Shewa Yongduk Dembadu means other power phenomena and thoroughly established phenomena are truly existence. Imputational phenomena are non-truly existence. This is very important mind only school. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
What question?
Confusion.
Confusion, don't make confuse.
Alright.
Don't make confusion. When you ask question, make me confused.
Yes.
Make sure.
Oh, make me
What is the
confused.
question? Maybe I will try.
I was wondering, with habit, where does it sit in those three? Is it
All are included in these three.
habits? All
Any
habits?
habit one must have included in these
It
three
must be-
imprint.
okay.
Latency, they are latency. Any appearance based on this habit, whatever good habit, bad, any habit included in this three latency. These are latency, isn't it? Intuition, latency, similar, right? But any different from latency, intuition, imprint, seed, different, isn't it?
So do you think habits come from non-conceptual mind or conceptual mind? Geshe?
What?
Habits, are they
Both.
Both.
Both. You see, then all are, remember this, two are conceptual, non-conceptual mind.